Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead on AMC. This week we've seen Season 3, Episode 5, which is called Burning in Water, Drowning in Flame. And, I'm not going to talk about this too much this time because I've ranted about it for every review I've made this season. But Fear the Walking Dead, it's shockingly still on a pretty good roll this season. I've been very surprised with how good the season's actually been so far. I thought Season 1 was okay. The finale was actually really good, though. Season 2 is alright as well, but it had some brighter spots to it here and there. But this one, it's really proving to be a pretty damn consistent season that's just kind of raising it bit by bit as it goes. And yeah, so Fear the Walking Dead is actually a pretty good show right now, which I'm happy about. I'm glad it's finally sort of finding itself and finding its own way here, hopefully. So if this keeps up through the rest of the season and only gets a little bit better as it goes, this is probably very well going to be a little bit better overall, honestly, than Season 7 of The Walking Dead. As much as I still love The Walking Dead, I know there's just a lot of padding with Season 7 and stuff like that, even though it's still pretty good to me. But, I can be honest about it too. So yeah, there's quite a few different things going on in this episode of Fear. Also my kind of Season 2 Walking Dead shirt, the farm, or the barn burning down, pretty cool. Anyway, so there's this couple on the Otto's ranch, and his wife ends up turning. She goes to bite him, but she has her teeth out. So he just kind of lets her go at his shoulder with her gums, and then he shoots both of them through the head himself as well as her. It's a pretty kind of a tragic opening, I guess. And we hear the story about him, how they met later on, how he was a soldier in the army and she was this nurse and everything. Kind of reminded me of Hacksaw Ridge or something. But Otto tells that to Nick a little bit later. So that stuff is pretty good. I like the scenes between Nick and Otto in this episode. Otto's definitely been mixed as a character from what we've seen built up with him lately. Because he seems like a nice older guy in the present, but then we hear about these stories with him and the kids, when they were young and everything like that. But I still thought the scenes between him and Nick were interesting, and that the advice he was trying to give him about Luciana, if she wanted to go, what does he really want? I'm not going to try and repeat all their conversations, but that side of it was pretty good. And then meanwhile we had Madison going out there with Troy. They get find the helicopter crash, but then they come across this guy just sitting in a rocking chair, just muttering the same sort of rhyme to himself. Then we see he was scalped. The back of his head, his brain's kind of uncovered, and this crow's just picking away at it. So that was kind of eerie and a little brutal at the same time. Then we meet this who seems to be an antagonist for the season, probably at least for the first half of the season, named Walker. I think we heard a little bit about him before, and it seems like he and his group are the ones who actually shot the helicopter down. There's also a possibility that Ophelia maybe with this group. You haven't yet to see her yet, but I'm pretty sure there's some promotional pictures out there or something, which would make things interesting for sure. But Walker basically has this dispute with Otto's over land and everything, and he's trying to use what's coming out of the world as a way to sort of take it back. So there's going to be some kind of territory dispute to the extreme. So they take Troy, Madison, and the others boots and supplies and everything, so they have to walk back. I thought that was pretty good. I thought some of the scenes between Madison and Troy were fine. They still have a weird dynamic. It's we find out that Troy actually really or at least his mother actually hated him and didn't show him enough love and everything like that, which we kind of figured. But Madison sort of plays on that to try and manipulate him and get to him. He holds a knife to her throat at one point, but he can't do it. So their bond is weird. Like, it's a mother-son dynamic, potentially. But it has, like, this other weird, kind of twist to it. It also feels, like, weirdly sexual in a way. It's just really odd. I still don't like Madison that well, but Daniel Sherman is pretty good as Troy right now. And I thought his character became a little bit more interesting to watch in this episode. With the conversations Madison had with him. So that was pretty good as well. And then we had Jake and Alicia. They hook up, which isn't, that big of a surprise. Because it's been a while for Alicia, and Alicia is, she doesn't have a lot of meaning. She feels like she doesn't have a lot of meaning with her life right now. She's not really seeing the point. They have this conversation about like poetry and different types of stories like that. But she just thinks it's all pointless, for what they're living in now. And if you remember back in season 1, the boyfriend, who was eventually turned, he sort of had a way of reading, and that was kind of their thing as well. So I can see why she would push that away even more, I guess. But he's able to sort of convince her otherwise, and they hook up. And then there's a shot at the end of the episode that they do of her jumping off this cliff, and at first you think, oh shit, but then she goes into the water and it appears like she's sort of reawakened herself in a way, which is good. But I do think the connection between her and Jake was rushed a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't surprised that the pairing happened, but just them having sex, it kind of felt a little bit, just rushed. I don't know. I still like Alicia, though I still have a lot of hope for her in the long run. And then meanwhile, you also had Strand and, of course, Daniel out there. Trying to take him to the hotel, saying last he knew Ophelia was still there. Daniel having a constant, gun to him, basically. And then we see how bad it looks like the hotel's gotten. Just kind of abandoned and just, kind of just broke into by the various walkers. Daniel gets pissed at him, so he leaves him to this mob of walkers and drives off with the car. So he wants Strand to get out of that one. So I thought that was pretty fun. They had a good, some good back and forths and everything. I think Strand will make it though, but we just might not see him for a little while. And like I said, if Ophelia does pop up with this walker and his group, it'll be interesting to see what happens once she realizes the group's with the Ottos and Daniel finds them and such. So overall a pretty good episode. If I had to rate it, I'd rate it about an 8.5, 8.6 out of 10. It's continuing the line of pretty good Fear the Walking Dead episodes. It's really shaping up the season nicely, actually. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let me know what you guys thought about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.